Learning Zilu Nishmas Etta Ahuva Bas Yaakov Maseches Gitin Perik Hey Mishna Hey Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgadai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgadai said Edis on four things. The first two have nothing to do with takanas, but the second two do, and that's why they brought in this parak. That's what Rashi says. The first one is Ala Charesha Shehisia Avia Shehiyotze Beget. If a girl was a Chareshes, and her father married her off while she was a Ketana, so her Kedushin was a Kedushin Da'araisa, and now she's a Chareshes, so she can't be Miskareshes Midaita. Still, she Yotze Beget, the get is a good get, and the Gemara explains, because Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgadai holds, Loi Be'inan Daita, we don't need her das, since the Isha is Miskareshes Bal Karcha, so therefore, even though she has no das, even though she's a Chareshes, the get is a good get. The second thing is, Ala Ketana Bas Yisrael, Shenisis L'Koyin, She'echelus B'Truma, if a girl was married off as a ketana, so her kedushin is only a kedushin derabanan. Here we're talking about that she was married her off by her mother and her siblings. The father's not around, so the kedushin is only a kedushin derabanan. She's allowed to eat truma, and over here it means she's only allowed to eat truma miderabanan. V'meisen, if she dies, by yarsha, her husband yarshins her. The Taisiyanta brings down because hefker bezdin hefker. The third thing, which is a takana, is halamarash hagazol shabana bebira sheyitel asdama mnei takanas hashavim. Even though a gazlan normally should have to return the thing that he stole, but over here where he stole a beam and he already installed it into his house, so the only way to return it would be to knock down his house. If you make it that he would have to return the actual thing, he's not going to wind up returning it. So they made a takana that for him to do tshuva, that he could just pay the money. And the fourth thing in the Mishnah is, which is also a takana, is alachatas hagezula. If someone steals a chatas, shaloi noidel rabim. If as long as not everyone knows about it, it's not feresya. Shehi mechaperes, it's going to be mechaper mimnei tikin hamizbeach. And over here the Gemara says two pshatim how to learn the Mishnah. Ula says that midaraisa yish is not kaina, and therefore it would not be mechaper. And over here, if it's loy noida, as long as not everyone doesn't know about it, then we'll say midrabanan. The Chachamim said yesh koyach b'yachacham l'akar davar min ha'torah b'shava al taseh. So they said that it will be mechaper. So this way, the kohanim won't be sad, and because they're going to be sad that they brought chulin that was nishkatu ba'azara. So therefore, they said that it will be mechaper, because if they'll be sad, then they're going to wind up not bringing karbana. So that's tikkun mizbeach. But Rav Yehuda says that no. Yish alone is kaina, so therefore midaraisa really it should be mechaper. But if it's noida l'rabim, but if everyone knows about it, then they said it's not going to be mechaper, so that people shouldn't say that the mizbeach is using animals that are gadol, and that's the tikkun hamizbeach. Mishnah Vav loy haya sekrikin biYehuda b'harugei milchama b'shas the harugei milchama, which the Gemara explains was a time and period in history. By Rashi says it was by Titus. Taisa says further that they were taking revenge on Yehuda who killed Esav. And Taisa says even though we know the famous story that it was Hushim ben Dan that killed Esav, Taisa says maybe he didn't die from them until Yehuda killed Esav, and that's why they made a takana then. The Goyim made a takana, a gzeira, we'll call it, that anyone who doesn't kill a Jew will get killed. At a different time in history, they made a gzeira that anyone who kills a Jew will get money. So therefore, there was a serious threat to the Gitin, and the only way to get out of it was to give your field to them. And Rashi explains that b'shas then, if you gave the field to save your life, so it's like the Gemara in Baba Basra that says Talu v'zavin zvina zavin, that if you force someone to sell their field, and they do it out of force, at the end of the day, the kinyan is a good kinyan. So over here also, where they were doing it because they were forced to save their life, so then the kinyan would be a good kinyan, and that's why we say ein ba mishum sikrikin. It doesn't have the halacha like we're going to say in a second in the Mishnah, a special halacha of sikrikin. So loy hay sikrikin biYehuda b'harugei milchama, but me'harugei milchama ve'elach afterwards, when it wasn't such a threat to their life. So then, yesh ba sekrikin, it has a special halacha. What's the special halacha? Ketzad lakach me sekrikin. The special halacha is allowing the original owner to get his field back. So therefore, lakach me sekrikin because of lakach me bayis. Even though after you went and bought it off these sekrikin, these reitzchim gayim, you went back to the original owner and you said, will you sell it to me? And the guy said yes, still mekach batal. The mekach is batal, and the Gemara is a shayla if that's even if it was bishtar, or only if it wasn't bishtar. Could be if it was bishtar. One Amayra holds that then why did he have to go ahead out of his way and to agree to write in a shtar? So then it would be a good kinyan. But if not for shtar, for sure, Kuliyam was maskim that the reason why the owner agreed was just because it was nicha for him to get it out of the hands of Sakrik. And once it gets into your hands, now he'll deal with you. So that's why the halacha is mechai batal, the mekach is batal. But if you originally bought it from the first owner, mibalabais v'chazav v'lakav me'Sakrikin, and the balabais sold it to you even without you having a shtar that you bought it off the Sakrikin, so why would the balabais agree? So then mechai kayim, the mekach is a kayim. Similarly, lakach mina ish v'chazav lakach mina isha. Let's say an isha has karka that's miyuchad for a ksuva, and you wanted to buy it off her. So if you originally went to her husband and you said, will you sell it to me? And he agreed, and now you go to the isha. So the reason why the isha is agreeing is because she doesn't want her husband to think that she wants to get divorced, and therefore she needs this karka. So therefore she agrees. She says, you could have it. Of course, my husband said you could have it, you could have it. So then mekhay batal, because he's not really masking. But if he first went to the isha and she agreed, then the mekach is kaim. Zu Mishna Rishayna, but Bezin Shalchareim Amru, afterwards they said a different halacha of Sukrikin. That halakech Sukrikin, if you buy it off these Reitzchem Goyim, then Noisin L'Bailim Revia. Then you have to pay a quarter of the value to the Bailim. The machlok is Rav and Shmuel, whether Revia Bekarka or it's really Revia. If it's Revia Bekarka or Revia B'mamas or Revia Bekarka Shein Shlish B'mois. I'm going to explain Shmuel, which was Revia Bekarka Shein Shlish B'mois. The example is that it was, let's say, originally worth 40. Taisus Yonta brings this example, and then it went down to 30. So you pay the Sekrikin 30, and you pay the Baal 10, a third of the amount that you're paying the Sekrikin. So you're paying the Sekrikin 30, and you're paying the Baal 10. The Gemara says, the Mishnah says, that's only if the original owner had no ability to buy it off the Zakrikin. If the original owner wants to buy it, then he goes first. Rabbi established a different halacha. Shem shasa b'fnei Sakrikin shnei masa chodesh. If it was already in the hands of Sakrikin at 12 months, and the original owner didn't buy it back, then kol hakodim likach zacha. Whoever comes first could buy it back. But the same halacha would apply that noisin l'baylim revia, they would give a quarter to the owner. The svara in this, Rashi explains, is because it went down a quarter in value from what it was originally worth in the hand of the owners. That was that they were shire that how much Sakrikin made this property go down in value.